Production issues today. Buck is out, decided to go sledding with his kid, and is now at the ER, trying to attend to possibly a broken arm. So hopefully everything is all right. Everybody is okay. Buck needs to, stop going sledding. And so until then, Wyatt and I are going to hold down the fort. We've got a great show planned for you guys. But before we get to all that, make sure you guys are at youtube.com/man hour. Also, make sure you guys are checking out the Facebook page, the website, manhourradio.com. Again, if you guys do a $3 or a $5 subscription, you get to be a part of the after show with us. Last night, we had our first running with it. Had a little bit of problems, but we'll work through those. I mean, it's all part of the growing pains of trying to kickstart everything and get everything going. So to everybody out there who is watching right now and that did not get to see the after show, we apologize for that. But without further ado, let's welcome, as Buck would say, the man, the myth, the legend, the Wyatt Williams. What's going on, Wyatt?
What's up, man?
Hey, man, it has been a crazy day. I had to drive. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, had to get out the snowblow like my entire backyard, get out to the front. Then we had to get my
you snowblow the yard?
Oh, yeah, we have to, so the dog can run around and do its thing. But then you get out to the front and you got to do the front walkway and all that. But then I have to get to my girlfriend's car, and it's 18 inches of snow, so it's up to my knees. So I just take the snowblower, and I just start walking down the block, doing everybody's sidewalk. And we get over to her car. It takes us, about half an hour to get that thing dug out. Then I had to come in, take a shower, get ready for work. I go to work for 3 hours, and I have to go to a meeting downtown Chicago. Now, downtown Chicago with normal traffic is about an hour drive, even though it's really only 20 minutes away from where I'm at. But the expressway is not plowed. So
my God.
Like it was like seriously a test of fate all the way to where I had to go to this meeting. And then I get to the meeting and two of the guys from the shop are at the meeting through Zoom. So why didn't we all just do the meeting through Zoom? Like why do I have to be
why would they tell you that, Ben Combs? That would make your life easy. Why would they do that for you?
Why wouldn't they do that for everybody? Why did some of us had to risk our lives?
Oh, God. So there was 18 inches on the interstate in Chicago on the way in.
No, so the interstate was packed down. Like, it had been plowed, but there was still a ton of snow.
Sure.
There was still a ton of slush everywhere.
Oh, my God.
It was ridiculous. And this was 1 o'clock in the afternoon when I left. How the hell is the expressway that bad off, 6-7 hours after it stopped snowing? That's insane to me.
That's crazy. I've been to Chicago 4 times in my life. We don't live that far. So sometimes we take like a little weekend trip up to Chicago. And oh God, I've seen it. It is the traffic is a little nuts there as you said. Then you add snow and you add early in the morning, rush hour traffic, all that good stuff, and it does not add for a good time, I'm sure.
It was bad. Drew says, "Howdy, boys. Where's Buckheister?" Buckheister is, if you guys missed the beginning of the show, Buckheister decided to go sledding with his son, and he went a little too fast, and they got into a little bit of a wreck, and so now Buck is at the ER with his son getting yelled at by his wife and having all sorts of fun, and you got me and Wyatt here. Buckheister said if he gets back from the ER, he'll hop on. But
see, which I was telling Combs pre-show, for all of you Buck fans out there, he is most likely not going to be on the show tonight. The hospitals in our area, our hospitals are horrible, like just terrible. Like I was telling Combs, you will go to a hospital and probably, I don't know, he'll probably sit in the waiting room for 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. Then he'll finally go back to a room. Once he gets back there, he'll wait for an hour for the doctor to just come in and say hi and get all their information, all that stuff. The nurse, take the temperature, all that good stuff you normally do.
You're there for at least 5-6 hours.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be there. I would say probably 7 or 8. If it is a broken arm and they have to cast it and stuff, he's going to be there for a long time.
18 inches, getting plowed. If I want to listen to Triple X, I'd listen to Playboy. But
Jesus
no. So
Christ.
when was the last time you went sledding, Wyatt? You're pretty young. When was the last time you went sledding?
So we've had several like little spurts of snow in the area. My brother is really redneck, right? So he has a 4-wheeler and all this stuff, right?
Yep.
So every time it snows, he gets so excited because he gets to pull everyone on the sled and like just flail around the yard because we don't have a big hill at my house, so we got to make speed, right? And how do you make speed? You strap a rope to a 4-wheeler.
To a 4-wheeler, yeah.
Yeah. That makes speed
at all.
Oh no, definitely not. Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm surprised we're not the ones that ended up with broken arms. No, so. I weigh probably 3 times what my girlfriend does, right? So she is shorter and skinny. So she gets on this thing, right? And my brother guns it. All right. So we're looking out across the field and she is going along and she's like holding on for dear life and you just see it bouncing and stuff as she goes along. It was so funny. But yeah, no, that is probably the last time I went sledding. But it's like hill sledding, like down a hill. Probably when I went tubing at one of the big locations here in Southern Indiana, go tubing at Paley Peaks.
Like we used to go awesome. Tubing up in Vermont, and we go down tubing out there is
you all go mountain tubing with 40 foot of snow.
You go up to the top. You take the ski lift all the way up to the top, and they have this thing built, and they have a ramp at the bottom. So it's a jump. So when you get up there, man, you're getting some height.
Oh man!
It's a jump. Oh my god! So. The last time I went, I always, since my kids were 2, man, we go up to the hills up there in New Hampshire and Vermont. I wouldn't take them tubing, but we'd go sledding up these hills. We would always build a ramp at the bottom. And the kids loved it. Like we build a little one so they don't go crazy, but we would always build a ramp so they go up and they go flying, and the kids loved it. So
yeah, back whenever
don't take too much grief from your wife because look, accidents happen. You weren't trying to hurt them. You weren't trying. You didn't say, "Hey, let me take this kid to the top of the hill and break his arm on the way down." That wasn't your intent. So don't take too much grief from the significant other. That you guys will be fine.
Yeah, no, we that's what we used to live on my grandma and grandpa's farm up in Lexington, Indiana, right? And
yeah.
They have a lake up there, and there's a dam for the lake. So we always used to sled down that. And my dad used to get like these giant logs, and he would set them down at the bottom of the hill, and then pack snow over top of them. So you would ramp up and over them. That was the most fun I have ever had in my entire life. We would just go flying over this thing, and then hope you don't crash into the trees behind it. But hey, we made it out okay. Right. We made it out alive. That's all that matters.
Just Drew again. Okay, says nothing wrong with us rednecks. We get stuff done in the most creative ways. Look, man, I agree. Especially like up there in New Hampshire, Vermont, man. That is redneck country. That is, I mean, they love their 4-wheelers. They love their snowmobiles. They love everything about all of it, and they do every single bit of it. But sometimes it's scary because I'm like, guys, we're gonna die. Like this is not
my brother.
This is not how things are supposed to be done.
This is even better because my brother literally oh man, I don't know, probably 2 weeks ago or a week ago, something like that. We had that first section of snow. We had just finished sledding the day before, and that day it snows again. My brother goes out and gets his 4-wheeler. He comes out in the yard. He's doing donuts in the 4-wheeler, right? And there's a little divot in our yard. He hits it, and it throws him off this 4-wheeler. He goes flying. He lands. Man. He jumps up. Both hands go in the air. It's like it's hilarious the stuff that he does.
Tim Leonard says, "Let's see if the MLB catcher talk is more accurate tonight." Hey, look, our pitcher stuff was accurate. I mean, Wyatt was a little off by having Trevor Bauer in the top 5 and not Clayton Kershaw, but I think that. I really think that both of our top 5s, with the exception of Trevor Bauer, I think we really had an argument for all of them. I don't think that the top 5 was too off, with the exception of Trevor Bauer. But Wyatt's young; he doesn't know much about baseball, so we could cut him some slack. I mean, he's a Packers fan, so he doesn't know much about anything that doesn't come in the form of cheese. So.
You're just mad. You're just mad because my team's better, man. That's all it is. You're just jealous because my team is green and gold, brother. That's all it is.
So speaking of your team being better, there was an ESPN analyst, and I can't remember which one it was, but I was listening to sports radio on my way to my meeting today, and one of the ESPN analysts says, I think that with Carson Wentz at quarterback, the Bears are a Super Bowl team. What in the
I don't think it's wrong, man.
Is this guy smoking?
It's not wrong. You got to
What are you talking about? It's not wrong.
Combs, and if this goes through in a year from now, you're going to come to me and Buck, and you're going to be like, you know what, man? I was wrong. You all were right. I watched film of a quarterback who had a terrible coach, who had a terrible offensive line, who had no weapons, and had a terrible defense, and had a terrible ownership situation. I watched a quarterback who had all of that, had a terrible situation and everything, in a year where we had no fans, all that good stuff. Everything was going crazy, and I watched the film, and I was wrong. All right. I was wrong, and you're going to say that, and you're going to be like, you know what? That Carson Wentz guy was pretty good, and I'm going to be mad because Carson Wentz is going to make the Bears a Super Bowl contender, and you all may have a chance of beating us once. Not twice, but you all have a chance of beating us just once.
Here's what I think about that. I think that in the long run, at the end of the 2021 season, if Carson Wentz is a Chicago Bears starting quarterback, if Carson Wentz comes into a Bears uniform, you guys are going to be like, damn, Combs, you were right. And you're going to be sitting there laughing because you don't care that you were wrong because the Bears still suck. That's what's going to happen. Here's why I don't like Carson Wentz with the Bears. 2 reasons. One, and the biggest reason, Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is still calling the plays. So the Bears' offense is not going to be successful. They have not been successful since he's taken over the team. 2, you don't know what you're getting with Carson Wentz right now. Are you getting the Carson Wentz who, of 2000 and whatever it was, 17 or whatnot? Or are you getting the Carson Wentz of 2020? You don't know either way what you're going to get.
Carson Wentz was a good Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz made 3 poor decisions this season.
Right, but to give up what you're going to have to give up for a guy who you have no clue what you're getting from him.
They don't want to give up anything.
And first of all, you can't say he made 3 mistakes this year. His first mistake was getting on the field. His second mistake was thinking that he was a quarterback. His third mistake was thinking that he was a starting quarterback. What is he then? He threw for 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions.
Because he was splitting time with another quarterback. He missed.
He was not splitting time with him.
Jalen Hurts started almost half the season.
Because the first half of the season, Carson Wentz was atrocious. They couldn't win with him, so they had to make a move.
He didn't have anybody there to help him win. What did Jalen Hurts do with in that system? Jalen Hurts didn't do anything either because nobody can win with that Philly team right now. They are struggling on many different links, whether it's coaching.
But the Doug Bears are in the same exact situation, though. The Bears are in the same situation.
No, he's going to have weapons if he comes to Chicago. He's going to have a good running back. Well, I shouldn't say it because Miles Sanders is all right. He's going to have a better offensive line. He's going to have a better and healthy wide receiver core. He's going to have better tight ends. Cole Kmet is great. I love Cole Kmet. I think he's going to be his future star tight end of the NFL. He's going to have a defense, a actual defense that has a pass rush and that has a secondary and that has a linebacker crew. He's going to have all that. He is, now in Philadelphia, if Carson Wentz comes back to the field quickly, that means that there was a quick touchdown on defense. In Chicago, if he comes back to the field quickly, that means he's sitting at the 30 on his side or on the defensive side of the field, 30 yards from the end zone because his defense made a huge stop or made a big turnover. That's what that means. If he stays in Philly, then there's nothing there for him in Philly. Philly is in a pure rebuilding stage right now. Dallas is the team in the NFC East right now. I hate to say it. You are talking to the biggest Dallas Cowboys hater right here on earth that isn't an Eagles fan. You are talking to him right now. And I hate to say it, but the NFC East is Dallas's division to lose from now on, pretty much. I mean, unless if Heineke comes out and he's insane. I don't think he'll be bad. I think he'll be one of those average quarterbacks because I think once they signed him to the big deal as they did, that pretty much tells you that he's going to get some time. I think they're kind of, Alex Smith may be the starter for this year, but I think after that they're going to move on if they even do give him time this year because they've already moved on from Haskins. Haskins was supposed to be the future of the team. They got him late. Everybody said that was a steal. Haskins turned out to be a guy who couldn't keep his nose out of the stuff he should have had his nose out of. He was going to strip clubs all the time. He was a terrible leader, and all that stuff. And that's how it all turned around on him.
It's a bad. You cannot have a. That's why it's a bad fit for Chicago, because Chicago needs that quarterback that can make up his own mind on the fly. They need a quarterback that doesn't need the coaching to be a good quarterback. And Carson Wentz clearly does.
Every single coach, every single quarterback in the NFL needs a good coach except for Tom Brady. Every single quarterback in the NFL.
Deshaun Watson is a guy who can make up plays on the fly.
He needed a coach.
Things happen. Carson Wentz is not that guy. He still had a quarterback rating of 102. He had a quarterback rating of 102 on a 4-12 team.
How many wins did he have? How many wins?
4.
That's terrible, Combs. That's terrible.
Come on. We both know that is not on him.
Just like the losing in Philly is not on Carson.
Yeah, the 15 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Yeah, that's on Carson Wentz.
He doesn't have the scheming or the offensive line to help him with that.
He doesn't have the quarterback vision to make plays happen.
You need to go back and watch his almost MVP season highlights.
But I don't care about his almost MVP season because that was 3 years ago. I care about
was whenever he had a good.
Lately.
Frank Reich was calling the plays then. When Frank Reich was calling the plays, he was doing good things. When he had a good, healthy offensive line.
Carson Wentz this year was doing things that he had never done in the past. Carson Wentz was making poor decision after poor decision after poor decision.
The pick six where he threw it to the left.
But see, I
know what you're talking about. That play was terrible.
Though.
That's on him, 100%. That one is. And then he had I think two or three more bad pick plays that were on him. But many of their interception plays were because the receiver's hands are like bricks. They bounce right off the hands and they go right into the air. There were so many interceptions Carson Wentz threw this year that were bobbled passes. I mean, unexplainable amounts. Now, yes, like I said, Carson had those plays, like the one where he just darted it left for some crazy reason, and it was a pick six. I totally agree. That was a terrible play, and he had many terrible plays. But when you have, 0.2 seconds to throw the ball because your offensive line is horrible and playing terribly.
That's what the Bears are. That's what I'm saying.
The Bears' offensive line is not as bad. The Bears do not have... okay.
I'm starting to think you don't watch football except for to make up your drafts. I don't think... I don't understand how you could watch what the Bears have done over the last 2 years and say that their offensive line is anything but terrible.
I didn't say it was great. I just said it was better than what Philly provided Carson Wentz this year.
No, it's not.
Even whenever Jalen Hurts had to scramble around and then throw something crazy downfield, and he happened to get lucky half the time. That's what Jalen Hurts did.
Carson Wentz
you cannot be a pocket
the same
passer.
Quarterback that he was 3 years ago in his MVP year. You can watch the tape all you want. I could watch the tape of Rex Grossman when the Bears went to the Super Bowl. You know what I see? A quarterback that was still not very good, but went to a Super Bowl. So what? Carson Wentz had a crazy, outstanding season, and then he got hurt. He is not the guy. He is not. If he comes to Chicago, the Bears are still going to be that 10-6, 9-7 team. Might squeak into the playoffs, but aren't going to be very intimidating heading into the playoffs. They're the same team they are with Carson Wentz as they were with Mitch Trubisky. But
no, you're telling me Carson Wentz is just as bad as Mitch Trubisky.
He's a slight half a step above Mitch Trubisky. We needed to take a quick break. After the break, we are going to get into some other talk. We want to know, is Dak worth $40 million? Find out after the break. What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Boy, that ended abruptly. I was not expecting that.
We're all good.
But as always, we are ready. I was playing some of the comments during the break. Tori Anderson said to someone call an ambulance and notify the burn unit. Wyatt is getting torched.
No.
I agree.
Come on, Tori. We're Packers fans. We're in this together, man.
I put Carson Wentz into the Bill O'Brien Magic 8 Ball, and the trade idea came out. Carson Wentz to New England for a 5th-round pick, 2 nosebleeds at Fenway, a cold hot dog, and a warm flat beer. That's still, you're still paying too much for Carson Wentz, though.
No. Okay, so you're telling me, how about this? Let's
He's
say
definitely not worth a cold hot dog.
Oh yeah, come on now. Let's say, I know you're joking. Let's say the Bears give up Nick Foles and a 3rd-round pick for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, would you do that?
What? A 3rd-round pick?
A 3rd-round pick and Nick Foles for Carson Wentz.
I'd give a 3rd-round pick and Nick Foles for a bag of 3D Doritos. So yeah. I mean, Carson.
I'm just telling you right now, like Carson Wentz,
a 3D bag of Doritos. That's what he's about worth. Carson Wentz is a half step. He's the same quarterback as Mitch Trubisky, but he's got a little bit.
They're so different. Nothing about them is the same. They're not different. That year that the Bears were good, those seems like many millennials ago, right? That one year they were good. Mitch Trubisky did nothing. He played okay. He played good because, once again, you got to be at least halfway decent for your team to be good. But that he was carried, and I mean single-handedly carried by that defense. Do you realize the Chicago Bears defense, that year they went 13-3, had more interceptions than they allowed passing touchdowns? Okay,
that year that they went to the playoffs and they were good and then lost on the double doink, he was 24-12 that year, touchdown to interception ratio. That's not far off of what the same MVP numbers of Carson Wentz, who was. But
Carson didn't play all the game.
But this past year, Carson Wentz was 16 for 15 in touchdown and interception, and Mitch Trubisky was 16-8.
If Mitch Trubisky was on that team, if they flip-flopped, then the Chicago Bears would have beat the Saints in round 1, and Mitch Trubisky, they would have had 3 wins in Philly with Mitch. Actually, no, they wouldn't have, because Mitch would have came out after 2 games, and then Jalen Hurts would have came in.
You are out of your mind.
I'm telling you, man. And Buck would be here to back me up. I promise you.
Well, yeah, okay. So you're gonna pin your hopes on a guy who said Derrick Henry's the 7th best running back in the NFL?
I don't agree with all the takes.
I don't agree with all the takes. Have my back. Oh, you only agree with his takes when he agrees with you, is what you're saying.
Of course. I mean, when would I not? I mean, of course I would.
Yeah, you're wrong though, and you're getting torched. But let's move on from that talk. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. Is Dak Prescott worth a franchise tag and $40 million?
I think after we saw what the Cowboys did with him being gone, yes, because single-handedly, just look at it. What did they do when he was gone? They did absolutely nothing. They are a good team when Dak is in. We saw that. Okay, the second that Dak went out, that team changed 110%. Zeke started fumbling the ball more than anybody else in the league. Amari Cooper couldn't have a consistent game to save his life. Michael Gallup became irrelevant for the first time in a long time. Cedric Wilson actually kind of sort of jumped into that number 2 role, kind of. So everybody really just digressed once he went out. As soon as Dak got hurt, it seems like, what hit the fan. It was all over for that team. So I think after he goes out and they immediately jump out of playoff contention, out of a good team, I think that right there is what got him the deal. I think that now if he would have went out and Andy Dalton would have made them a playoff team, even if they were a 7-8 win playoff team, I still think that they would have went with somebody else. But since that didn't happen and they didn't do anything without him, there's no way of not saying he's worth that.
Yeah, look, to me, if I'm the Cowboys, unless I'm trading him for Deshaun Watson, I'm giving Dak a long-term extension. I'm giving him, whatever it takes to get him there. If that's a $320 million deal, then it's a $320 million deal, because Dak is a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. He just is. He is so good.
I would say worth-wise, he's a top 5 quarterback in the league because of his age and his talent. But just like, if you're going to say
top
quarterback
5 quarterback
yeah. So, okay, here we go. So
this is a guy who got hurt and still led the league in passing for 4 weeks.
But that's because all they were doing was passing at that time. I mean, you can't really go off that.
He's still.
It really does matter
because that's all they were doing was passing.
That's all they were doing. But he had a ton of picks as well. I mean, like, he didn't just, yes, he threw for a ton of yards, but it's like the Jameis Winston situation. Yeah, it's like you saying Jameis Winston is a top quarterback in the league. Of course, Jameis Winston had all those yards and stuff because he passed 500,000 times.
They were losing because of their defense, not because of the play of Dak Prescott or that offense. That they were scoring 30-plus points a game, and they were losing, 38 to 31, 42 to 38. Like, I To sit there and say he was out there and he was throwing a ton of he threw 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 5
games. How many in 5 games? He averaged just under a pick a game. Aaron Rodgers threw like 4 picks this whole season.
But not everybody's on Aaron Rodgers' level when it comes
to
that.
Aaron Rodgers is the top quarterback in the league. You want to put him in contention with the top quarterback in the league, then he should have numbers like a top quarterback in the league.
And I would bet you that if you go back and look, I bet you, maybe not all 4, but I bet you 3 out of those 4 interceptions that he threw were in the 4th quarter when he was trying to make something happen because his defense couldn't stop
okay. So you're telling me, okay, I'm gonna name 5 quarterbacks here, right? And you got to tell me which one of these he's better than, okay? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Russell Wilson.
He's not. He's better than Russell Wilson. He's better than Josh Allen. You're out of. Dude, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if it's your youth showing or whatever.
Dak is better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen was a top 3 quarterback in the league this year. Josh Allen was better than Tom Brady this year.
I would trade Josh Allen for Dak Prescott, absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Stop it. Oh, my God. The Cowboys would love to trade Josh Allen and Dak because then the Cowboys would win a Super Bowl if that happened, all right? And I don't have anything against the Dak. I like Dak. But look at that. Drew, he said it right there. He's throwing for all those yards, and they're still losing.
Because they were losing games 38 to 30. If you score 30-plus points in an NFL game, you should win that game. And if you don't, that loss is not on you. That loss is on your defense.
No, so they have a great defense. They have the best linebacking core in the league, Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith.
Out of your damn mind.
Who is a better linebacker core? What is going on with you? Who has a better linebacker core?
What is going on with you right now? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand like what you're doing, what you're thinking.
DeMarcus Lawrence on the pass rush.
They lose the first game. They only score 17 points against the Rams, a really good defense, and they lose 20-17. They beat the Falcons 40-39. They lose to the Seahawks 38-30.
The Falcons choked that away.
They lose to the Seahawks 38-31. They lose to the Browns 49-38. They beat the Giants 37-34, and that was the game that was the game
he got hurt. Yeah.
So I don't understand what they gave up 39. They gave up 31, they gave up 38, they gave up 34, then they gave up 38, 25, 23, 24. They gave up 20. Like, these are not games. This is not signs of a really good defense. I don't know what the hell you're smoking. What did you do today?
I'm just saying.
Are you tired or something?
Look at their defense and the numbers and the Pro Bowls they have. They have the best linebacker core in the league. Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is a Notre Dame guy. You should know this, Combs.
When you are giving up that many points a game, you are not a top-end defense. You can throw out names all you want.
But if your offense gives up so many opportunities.
What are you talking about? Dak gave them 4 opportunities, 4 extra 4 extra downs.
Zeke fumbled the ball a bunch. Amari was fumbling the ball. Dak's throwing picks. I mean, and also they had so many they had so many punts. It has nothing to do. A defense is not going to hold a offense if they get, 15 tries at it. They're not going to hold them to 8 or if they're not going to hold them to 2 or less scores, 3 or less scores. If you give an offense that many tries at it,
a top tier defense will. Yes, they will. That's how the Bucs defense survived the first half of their season. The Bucs were giving up the ball left and right, and they survived their first half of the season.
They were not giving up the.
Yes,
the
Bucs,
were. The Bucs
they
had
were 3 and out all the time.
They had like at the beginning of the year, they had like 2 or 3 bad games.
I think you forgot like what happened early in the do you only look at what happened like the last week of the season and in the playoffs? Because I really don't think that you remember anything that goes on in football.
I do, but also I do look at the end of the season because that tells me who actually made the playoffs and who was relevant and who mattered. And Josh Allen mattered. Okay, the Cowboys without Dak Prescott did not matter.
You are on something that I don't understand. I don't get where like to you think Dak Prescott is Carson Wentz better than Dak Prescott?
No, he's not.
I was gonna kill you if you said yes.
No, well of course he's not. During his MVP season he was, but not right now. I think if he's healthy and he has good assets around him, Carson Wentz could be, but he is not. No, at the moment, no, he is not. And in the future, if I had to guess, no, he will not be. No, I will give you that.
Carson Wentz couldn't throw for 500 yards if you spotted him 300 of them.
Because he doesn't need to throw for 500 yards.
Yes, he.
When in the year that
he was throwing for 500 yards, this year, the Eagles would have been a much better team. Like they should have. No. Okay. Yes, they would have been. Okay. Sure. If every quarterback in the league would have thrown for 500 yards for their team. Okay. Do you know how unrealistic those numbers are? 500 yards. I need some stuttering nonsense on this show. Where the hell is Buck? I've only got your spew right now.
Do you know?
God.
Do you know how rare it is for a quarterback to throw for 500 yards? That is not an easy task to do.
And he was doing it every game. Dak was doing it every game, and you say he's not good.
I did not say he was not good. I just said, as of right now, he's not a top 5 quarterback in the league. Value-wise, he is, because he's young and talented, but as for a quarterbacking skills, as for all that stuff, no, he is not. I cannot sit here and tell you he's better than Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson. Let me think here. Matt Stafford. I'm sorry, I can't sit here and tell you that because, but value wise, as for age, production, and talent, yes, there are only 3 quarterbacks that are better than him when it comes to talent and age. That is Patrick Mahomes at 1, that is Deshaun Watson at 2, and that is Josh Allen at 3. Dak Prescott comes in at 4. No,
Dak Prescott comes in a ton of yards.
Kyler Murray comes in at 4.
You're right. The first game when they were up against that vaunted Rams defense, he only threw for 266. After that, he threw for 450 against Atlanta, 472 against Seattle, and 502 against Cleveland in losses. And then he got hurt in the second quarter of the Dallas game, and he had already had 166 yards passing.
Okay, so that means he probably would have mounted out to about 4. And I'm not saying his numbers aren't great.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying he's not a top 5 quarterback.
Right?
Okay, once again, he is not better than Tom Brady. He is not better than Patrick Mahomes, not better than Josh Allen, not better than Russell Wilson, not better than Aaron Rodgers. I can't put him there. I can't. But like I said, value-wise, he is. Absolutely. I like Dak. I really do.
I go Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes.
Tom Brady is not the best quarterback right now in the league. All time, yes, he is.
He just won another Super Bowl and he's 43. He's the best damn quarterback in the league until he dies. Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes,
Why isn't he paid like it?
Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott. That's your top 5.
No.
Yes.
No.
It is. I'm sorry, but it is. You're wrong. But we're going to move on to the next topic here. The NFL's talking about adding some teams. I know Mexico's been in the mix for a team. They say that Chicago really could use a team. Because they don't have a team right now either. But and maybe even taking Green Bay out of Green Bay and moving them up to out to California, give them a fourth team. That would be a good decision. So let me ask you a question here, Wyatt. Should the NFL add 2 more teams?
No, I don't think so. I think the NFL's pretty evenly spaced out as it is. Plus, if you add 2 new teams, that wouldn't really work because then you would have to have 2 divisions that are lopsided. I mean, yeah, you'd have 17 and 17 teams, but how would you split up the 4 divisions? That doesn't amount to an equal number. So it would mess it up that way, as well as I think the NFL is just fine how it is. It would be different if it was 2 overpowered and every single team had all this star power and all this stuff. It would be totally different by that, but there's still terrible teams. I mean, every year, there's no point in adding 2 more teams when we already have the Jets Miami kind of worked it out now, and same with the Browns. So the Jets really every year have sucked. The Jaguars every year have sucked. Kind of, they had one little good stint there in, I believe that was 2016, 2015 time when that defense was going off. But it's just as long as you have terrible teams, there's not really any point to add teams. I mean, if everybody is pretty spaced out along the board, because it's not, now whenever you get to the point to where whenever your best team is 10-6 every year, then maybe you should add some teams to kind of, mix things up. But as of right now, I mean, every year we've got a 14-2, 13-3 team, and every year we've got a 1-15, 0-16, or a 2-14 team. So I mean, it's pretty evenly spaced out.
Yeah, and the problem that I have, like in baseball, I can tell you that there's a couple teams that should move, like the Tampa Bay Rays, and stuff like that, to get more.
I don't even know how
support.
Tampa.
They'd have better areas, but there's nobody like that in football, because even the Jacksonville Jaguars have a pretty damn good fan base. You look at teams that are down right now. Every team has. The Raiders have a rabid fan base, and they haven't been good in a long time. Like, I mean, they're kind of relevant, but they're not good.
They're not Super Bowl contenders, yeah.
So I'm not sold that there should be 2 more teams, and I'm not sold that anybody should move. I think that there are places that would be great to have a team. I think that, a place like Mexico would love to have a team, and it would probably be good there. You look at other places like maybe down south, like the Alabama, Oklahoma area. That's a rabid college football team. Imagine if you had an NFL team there. What would happen down there? So there are places that could use a team. So if they added 2, I wouldn't be against it. But I don't think that right now there is a dying need for it right now.
Well, I mean, and plus, whenever you look at it, the NFL has the most teams of every league, pretty much. I mean, the NHL has 32 now because of Seattle.
Yeah.
So the NHL now has 32. Baseball has 30. NBA has 30. So I mean, they've already got the most teams. If you add too many more, you're looking at the points where now you got too many teams. Now, it throws off your playoffs. It throws off your divisions. I mean, I don't think that would make sense. And
you brought up hockey. The NHL's now had, I think it's like 12 games canceled due to COVID. Now, when they were in they did their little bubble in the playoffs and all that, 0 positive tests, 0 canceled games. Same thing with the NBA. Why do you think the NHL is having such a problem now with COVID? Do you think it's because there's more travel involved now, even though they did align the division so that it would minimize the travel? Or do you just think that it's one of those things where unless you contain it in a bubble, you're not really going to be able to avoid this on that big of a, I guess I would say that widespread? I mean, you've got so many players in the league, it's hard to really contain it unless you're in a bubble.
So first off, I really think that every single team should have had, or every single league should have had a bubble, simply because there's no fans anyways. Now the teams, like, I get it, there's some that can have fans, but it's not the same. I mean, if the difference between, for example, Arrowhead could have fans, but it's only like 10 to 15% of your stadium can fill. That's not the same. I mean, I get it, it's cool, but like, it's not really. And the NBA did so good at making that bubble to the point to where they had completely got COVID out of the bubble in like, what was it? I think 8 days. And then they didn't have a game canceled from here on out. Now, as for to blame it on travel and all that stuff, I mean, here's the deal. If you're traveling in the United States, you're going to come across that stuff. If you're traveling the world, anywhere in the world, you're going to come across that stuff. There's no way to really stop that from happening. So as to say that blame it all on travel, every single league has had a big outbreak. You look at the MLB last year. Remember that? The last season for the MLB, it went crazy. They started breaking out left and right. Certain teams played less games than the other ones. You look at college football, it was the same way. So, I mean, you're not going to stop it. The only way to truly stop it is a bubble. And that's what, like, I don't like the idea of a bubble because I don't like the idea of fans not being involved. But when it comes to the fact of I love sports and I want sports to continue on, you really can't do that without a bubble if you're going to talk with speaking on the fact of fans or no fans. If you're going to play and you want COVID out of this and you want it out of play here and you want to play your league without being touched or any of that stuff, you're going to have a bubble.
Yeah.
Or if you want to risk it, then, you're going to have COVID issues. It's just that simple. This is a airborne illness. This is a disease that can get to you. That's why we all got to stand 6 feet apart. It can reach up to 6 feet. So,
but
you could be walking past some random. Yeah. I mean, you could be walking past some
magic number.
Exactly. And I'm sure it can stretch farther than that. But anyways, you can be at a gas station and walk past some guy and get it, just because you walked past him. That it has nothing to do with, sharing a drink or anything like that.
I think that it's just because it's so widespread. They're not in a bubble. That's why it's different than it was last year. But they'll get it under control like every other sport has and every other sport will. Let's get to some comments here before we take another break. Tim Leonard said, "Hi, Bias. Nice to meet you again." I think he's talking about your Dak Prescott take. Deshaun Watson was tossing 300 to 400 every week. Yes, he was. Let's see here. Tim Leonard, I just created a new drinking game for the radio show. Anytime Wyatt refers to a player's past stats or refers to the Packers when not needed. Oh, man, we'd all be drunk by the end of the first 10 minutes of the show. Like,
y'all are just jealous. I'm all about that stats, man.
Yeah. The stats from 3 years ago. Check out, he was good in 1974. Like he would be amazing right now. Iowa was going to get a team, but Minnesota would want one then too.
It's like you with MJ, man. He was good in the 90s, but he'd be great now, right?
Shut up. Portland, OKC,
it goes both ways.
Toronto, St. Louis, Vancouver, Mexico City, and one other for the NFL. It does not go both ways because we're talking about greatest of all time in a sport, not right now. Who's the top 5? Like you're out, just stop. Then let's see here.
You're not gonna pull any of these up, Combs? Come on.
Give me a hashtag Wyatt is nutty if you think his takes tonight are out of the nut house.
All right, here we'll show some of the ones that you didn't want to show here, Combs. How about
my peek and splash 6'2", says Tori Anderson.
About
Michelle
that one
says
right
hashtag
there.
is Combs is old. Stop.
I'm trying to put it up there.
I'm trying to put stuff up there too. Can't be two of us. Hashtag Combs is old, says Michelle. Michelle, go to bed. We're taking another break. We will be
Combs is old.
Sorry. Oh my God.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams, and we are here with the amazing segment, Two Lies and a Truth, call it Liar Liar. Bringing on now, Combs. You ready for this?
Hey, let's do it.
I don't remember what's our score tally. I totally forgot it. I think you're up by 2 on Buck.
I was up 3-1.
You're 3. Okay, 3. Okay, so you are up. Okay, 3-1. So here you are again. You get another opportunity.
And the truth, right? I gotta figure out what
you gotta guess which one is the truth. Okay, so the crazy, unusual fact you might not know. You ready? Which one is it here? So, basketball legend Wilt Chamberlain never fouled out of a game. All right, that's the first one. Scottie Pippen, former Bulls small forward, one night blew through $500 million in one night, one time. Okay. And then, let's see here. Pittsburgh, okay, is the only city in the United States to host every single sports national championship and all of the Emmys and Grammys and all that good stuff.
What city was that?
Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go with Wilt Chamberlain never fouled out of a game.
And that is true. So you advance on 4-1 now. Bam.
Boom.
Boom, pow. All right, you ready for the next one here?
Let's do it.
So, first one here is Michael Jordan. You know, the guy you say is the GOAT. Yes. Owns a shoe factory, as everybody knows. But the biggest thing that nobody knows about that he owns, he actually owns a heating pad company. All right, so he invested in a heating pad company, as well as the shoes. Everybody knows about the shoes, but the heating pads, and they're not called like Jordan or anything like that. It's not your name brand, right? So, in the next one, kite flying is a professional sport in Japan. All right.
Okay.
So kite flying is a professional sport in Japan.
Imagine that during a tsunami.
Exactly. Oh God. Good Lord.
I win.
Exactly. So and then our final one here is the average lifespan of an MLB baseball is 5 to 7 pitches. So there you go. You got Michael Jordan heating pad. You have Japan the kite flying is a pro sport in Japan, and then the average lifespan of an MLB ball is 5 to 7 pitches.
I want to say the baseball one, but because I try to think about how often you get a foul ball or you get a. I'm gonna say the kite flying.
Kite flying? Final answer?
Yeah.
And that is not true. Dan Coleman, did you get an opportunity to catch up there and you just lost
baseball?
It is the baseball.
Damn.
The baseball average lifespan of a baseball. You should have stuck with your gut, man. The average lifespan of a MLB baseball is 5 to 7 pitches, and it is because of what you mentioned. It's the foul balls. It is. It's something about like I read on there. I just turned it off, but it's something about if the baseball is hit in any way, it can no longer be used. So if it is like foul tipped, something like that, the catcher cannot pick it up and throw it back to the pitcher.
They use it when it's after like a base hit. It gets thrown around and then gets thrown back to the pitcher.
I guess I don't know. I guess they get a new one or something. I'm not sure what it is, but that's what the article said, that after a baseball is hit, it can no longer be used. Can you imagine the bucket of baseballs that they have sitting there waiting?
They go. I forget what the average. It was a lot of baseballs in one major league game, and then they did another one about how many baseballs are used during a major league baseball season. And it's astronomical. Like, the number is, like, unfathomable that they use that many baseballs. But, yeah, that's... Damn. I didn't know
that's
that.
What, like, in a Super Bowl, I can't remember what it is. It's like... I saw this one time. It's like they use a new football after every single, like, first down, I think.
Yeah.
After every single first down, they bring out a new football in the Super Bowl. So like, I don't even know what the number is that they use, but they use a ton of footballs in the Super Bowl.
That's for money though, because they like selling that stuff off and making money in auctions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, because something's got to pay for that ball, right? The NFL's got to make money on it some way.
So I'm one of two. We going for a third one? We got a third one here? Or
sure, I'll pull up a third one here. No, I only had two, but I will pull up a third one for you. How about this?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, all right. Golf is the only sport to be played on the moon. So that's the first one. The second one is home teams in the NFL must provide 100 National League footballs, the Wilson, the Dukes, or whatever, the nice NFL ones. They must provide at least 100 of those per game. The home team has to. And then the final one here is former 49er legend Joe Montana actually has a Christian rock album that nobody knows about.
I feel like if Joe Montana had a Christian rock album, we would all know about it.
Yeah.
Hey,
you never know, though.
That one's out. Golf on the moon.
But how think about it though.
I don't think you can play if you hit a golf ball on the moon.
Imagine driving on the moon. Oh my! Your drive would
see if you can
800 yards.
See if you can hit one to Earth. I would say it's God. What was the second one again?
The NFL, like home teams in the NFL. It's funny we just mentioned that, but with the Super Bowl, but as not regular season games, not Super Bowl. NFL teams, the home team must provide 100 NFL regulated balls for the game.
God, 100's a lot. I'm gonna go with golf on the moon.
Golf on the moon?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Somebody took a driver to the moon. Tell me somebody took a driver to the moon. That's my final answer.
Well, Combs, in 1971, Alan Shepard took a driver to the moon and hit golf balls and played golf on the moon.
That is amazing. Like, I wonder if that ball's still in orbit.
I don't know, honestly. I would want to do it, because you could say you've done that, okay? He's the only person to be able to say, hey, I've played golf on the moon, okay? That's first off.
Only a handful of people can say they went to the moon.
Oh, exactly, yeah. But hey, that separates him from Neil Armstrong, okay? Oh, Neil, you were the first person to be on the moon, huh? Well, I was first place to play golf on the moon.
I had a 2 million yard drive off a tee.
It's like that's a total like bragging right thing too. You can go around and be like, your friends are like, oh, I just drove 300 yards or whatever it may be, right? And you can be like, oh well, I've drove 2 miles, so
my ball's still flying.
My ball's still in air. I couldn't see anymore, so I left. Yes, or say it was 71. His name was Alan Shepard.
Imagine all of a sudden you're in an airplane and the airplane goes down. They're like, what happened? A golf ball hit the damn windshield mid-flight.
It took a wing out. You should have seen it.
Oh, my God. What in the world?
It's crazy, isn't it?
I just picked that one because I thought it would be cool. I thought 100 footballs is a lot of footballs. I think maybe
well,
25
the truth on that one is the the NFL home teams must provide at least 30. They have to provide 36.
Oh, so I was close. I said 25, 30. I was close.
So it's 30. It's 36. They have to provide 36 footballs for an NFL game.
Yeah.
So that is the truth.
All right.
But yeah, golf on the moon, man.
Some of these comments here. Let's see what people are talking about. Bree Williams says, "Wow, true about the kites," says Tim Leonard. Drew said kites. Bree said the kites. See, we all went with the kites.
Kites is actually so that one is technically, it's kind of true, but it's not. Let me pull it back up here. Kite flying is a pro sport in Thailand.
Oh, so it was about the.
So it is. It is a pro sport.
It is a pro sport somewhere,
but it's in Thailand. It's not a pro sport in.
Tricky.
And hey, I gotta throw you off some way, right? I can't just give it to you.
Though, man, I
should.
Felt like the baseball was close, but I wasn't sure that was it. That's crazy. Kind of like playing with a deflated football. We asked Tom Brady about that. Drew says the umps have a bag that they put the used balls in. After a hit, they give it to the ump. Do they really? See, I've never noticed, as you would think, as much baseball as I watch, I would notice that. I thought that after a hit and they throw it around, they throw it back to the pitcher. I've never noticed that he gives it back to the ump after. Huh.
Well, I'm just wondering if they actually, like, of course you see it tossed around a bunch. It's kind of like the baseball thing, after you get the out, you toss the ball around and stuff. But I've always wondered, like, once I saw that, like, do they actually? Because once you see it, they don't immediately throw it back to the pitcher. Normally, if you see it catch it first, they throw it to second base. Then I'm guessing if they throw it to third.
Tim, as a previous bat boy for a certain pro team, not every time a ball is hit, the ball is replaced. Only when a ball is hit foul tip, foul territory, or if touched by a non-active player.
Okay.
Huh.
Well, that's what that's what that website told me, is that every time it was hit, but I guess they were referring to that.
Bree says, I like the show, guy. Hey, Bree, we appreciate you. Appreciate the kind words. That's what we do this for. We do this for you guys. Obviously we're trying to make something of it as well, but right now you guys are everything to us. We do everything we can to make sure that you guys have a great experience. We also have manhourradio.com. If you go there, we have an after party show. We're not going to have it tonight because Buck's not on, and he's got all the software for that. But $5 a month gets you free access into that half-hour show. Plus, after 6 months of subscription, you also get a free Man-Hour hoodie. So, good things happening. We thank you guys for all your kind words, all the love that you guys show. Not just you, Bree, but we got Drew in here. Tim's always in here. Tori as well. Tori's in here every night. Hoffy, who's chimed in a couple times here in the chat. You guys are with us the entire ride. So you guys are the OGs of the Man Hour Nation, and we love you guys every step of the way for that, for sure. Let's get into here. Drew says, gives new meaning to the term, have they dropped yet? Oh, man. And Bree says, we were close. And she says, I'll be tuning in, or he said, I'll be tuning in regularly. That
appreciate
is awesome. That. We appreciate, everybody who comes in regularly, everybody who's a listener. We will always interact with our fans. We love every step of the way. We are not going to be one of those shows that once it goes big, yes, and Penelope, I cannot forget you. We are headed to the top, and we will get there. I mean, we're too driven not to get there. But when we get there, you guys are coming with us, and we appreciate everything that you guys do for us as well. So we are going to take another break, and when we get back, we are going to get into our top 5 catchers rankings in MLB. Let's see if Wyatt can spout any more nonsense out of that crazy head of his tonight. We will be right back. Hour Nation, welcome back. If you guys have not yet donated to Angel with an A, the Memorial Motorcycle Ride has come up May 1st, 2021. You got plenty of time to go ahead and donate. But even if you can't donate, head over to manhourfacebookpage.com and just give the link a share so that we can get this thing to be as big as it needs to be for support. And it also brings money for a scholarship for a kid, or more than one kid who, cannot necessarily afford a good education. So let's go ahead and get this stuff done. Let's make Man Hour Nation the prime supporter of Angel with an A. Wyatt, are you ready, buddy?
I'm ready, man.
All right.
The real question is, are you ready, Combs?
Last night you gave us Trevor Bauer over
Top 5
Clayton
pitcher, man.
Kershaw. Trevor Bauer has had 2 of his 9 seasons where he's at an ERA of under 4. But somehow he's a top 5 pitcher in Major League Baseball. I'm not quite sure how that translates. But nonetheless, we are going to move forward here, and we're going to go with our top 5 catchers. Starting with number 5, Wyatt Williams. Who do you got?
At number 5, I have the Oakland A's very own Sean Murphy. Okay? He is incredible on both sides of the ball. Great offensively, great defensively. Awesome with his bat in his hand. A power hitter, as well as he is arguably, I think, probably could be the strongest armed catcher in the league. He is definitely up there on that one. It is close. It is close. Not saying arguably, not saying he is, but he is a very close competitor for that one. So I have Oakland A's. I have the Oakland A's very own Sean Murphy at 5.
All right. I mean, I can kind of buy that. I don't have Sean Murphy on my list, not in my top 5. He's definitely a top 10 catcher right now in the league. Very young, a guy that not a lot of people know about, probably because he plays in Oakland. For some reason, everybody sleeps on Oakland every year, and they seem to sneak up on everybody and somehow win the division and make the playoffs every year, but people still sleep on them. But I don't have him in my top 5, but it's not to say that he couldn't be a top 5 catcher. I know MLB Network, when they did their top 5 catchers right now, I believe he was in their top 5 as well. But I don't always agree with the baseball writers either, as we've heard in the past. So at number 5, I actually have Will Smith of the Dodgers. Look, this kid's not going to blow you away with his bat. He's not, he's going to be a career 270 type hitter. But defensively, and the way this kid handles a pitching staff is phenomenal. I really like watching Will Smith play the game of baseball. I really like his leadership. I love the way he handled that pitching staff last year during that World Series run. And he still can provide a spark at the plate. He's not an automatic out. He's still got a decent stick for a catcher. So I went with Will Smith at number 5. At number 4, I went with Salvador Perez. A lot of people might not have Salvi on their top 5. I do. Look, I think that this guy has been a sneaky guy that has fallen off of everybody's radar because Kansas City has not been good. But Salvi Perez hits with the best of them. This guy is just an absolute beast behind the plate. He's got a strong arm. He's smart. He can throw you out at first. He can pick you off. You don't run on Salvador Perez a ton, and the guy can just flat out hit. I mean, he hit 333 last year in 2020, and so I have a hard time not having him in my top 5. So I have him at number 4. Who you got at number 4?
So for my number 4, I have your number 5. That is Will Smith of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Something you forgot to mention there, Combs, all right? And maybe it's because of your age. I'm not sure, okay? He is young. That is what I love the most about this kid, is that he is not only a great and dependable defensive catcher. He can get you there. But also, he is young. He has tons of room to grow. He is not old. Like our friend Combs here. Love you to death, man. But, sometimes you just forget about that stuff, right?
Sure.
No, but I got Will Smith at 4. And like you said, he's got a decent bat. He's not terrible. Like I said, that's kind of where the room to grow is for him because defensively he's great. He's got a really powerful arm to get you trying to cut to second. So I got Will Smith at 4. And as for my number 3, I have Yasmani Groundall. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. Okay. The White Sox very own.
Don't mind me. I'm just, I'll react to him after. Sometimes I have an out loud reaction when I'm talking baseball. My bad.
The biggest thing I like about this guy is you are not, and I mean not, stealing a base on this guy, okay? I don't care how good your speed is, all that good stuff. The guy has a ridiculous arm, and you will not be crossing that first to second base line. He will get you at second every time, and that's why I like him. A decent batter as well. So I got Yasmani good grit. Excuse me, Groundall at 3.
Yeah, I mean, he had more stolen bases on him than he had caught stealing last year, but sure. I mean, I'll give you that, I guess. So at number 3, I have Austin Nola, another kid that a lot of people aren't going to know about because he does play in Seattle. A young up and coming kid. Another kid that can just really, really hit. He's got a really strong arm. He does not. He handles the pitching stuff really well. He does not get stolen on a lot. He can pick you off at first base. I really love a catcher that can handle his staff and that has a cannon for an arm. And Austin Nola is one of them. He's going to play a lot of first base as well. But I have him at number 3 on my list. At number 2, might be a shocker here. But I have JT Realmuto at number 2. Look, I know the guy can hit for power. Doesn't really hit for average too much. He's a very good at handling a pitch. Very excellent. To be a top 2 catcher in the game right now is one of those things. But you can steal on him. You can steal on him a lot. And so for me, that knocked him down a peg from my number 1. So I have JT Realmuto at number 2. Who do you have at number 2?
So number 2, I am going to have our very own catcher, Wilson Contreras with the Cubs. Love the guy to death. And his bat, his bat sends baseballs to other planets. Okay, he's a laser eye catcher. Really strong arm as well. I love watching the kid play. He's awesome. And I already know that he is going to be your number 1. I can already guess it. Okay, I'm a little bit of a spoiler alert for everybody. Even if we didn't have that pre-show meeting,
I'm a Cubs fan.
Yeah, I mean I'm a Cubs fan too.
I didn't have a Cubs player number 1 for my pitchers.
You had 1 at 5 though.
Yeah, but he's a top 5 pitcher in the game. Oh, okay, right. Trevor Bauer. Sorry, he's only thrown for ERAs less than 3 and hasn't thrown for ERAs of 6 and 4 like your guy Trevor Bauer. Jeez, I'm crow. Who do you got at number 1? With that being
said, the number 1 catcher in all of baseball right now is JT Realmuto, who you had at number 2. Okay, he does everything to perfection in Philly as a catcher. And he leads his pitching staff. He is a great leader and awesome there for that pitching staff there in Philly. And like I said, he does everything to perfection. He's a great batter, nice defensive catcher, everything all around exactly what you would want in a catcher. Sure, there are times he'll get caught lacking and guys give him first to second on him. Sure, I get that. But as an all-around catcher, you cannot deny how dominant this guy is. Either way, 1 and 2, I will say I picked on you about it for the Cubs thing. I'm a Cubs fan as well. But 1 and 2 are a big toss-up. But I do have Realmuto getting the edge there for the number 1 spot over Contreras.
Yeah, look, I like Contreras. I do have him at number 1. I think that he is by far the best catcher in baseball. He, as well as Realmuto, has allowed a lot of stolen bases, but he has done that while catching guys like John Lester, who does not throw pickoffs over to first base. So you get bigger leads. He's had guys that are slower to the plate, a lot of rookies. But the way this guy handles a pitching staff is amazing. The games that he calls, he has an absolute cannon. I mean, it's just 2 years ago, he had 8 or 9 pickoffs and in one season, that's an amazing feat for a catcher. For pickoffs at first. That's not throwing guys out at second who are trying to steal. That's pickoffs at first, second, or third base while you're standing on that base. So that's amazing for a catcher. He can flat out hit too. I mean, look, this kid, he had an off season last year. A lot of people had off seasons with COVID and 2020 and how their season is. But he is a doubles machine. He produces. He is the lightning in that lineup, and he's the guy who can provide a spark at any time alongside with Javier Baez. So I have Wilson Contreras right now as my number one catcher. But I'll tell you this, JT Realmuto and Wilson Contreras, I think either way you argue it, one or two, I think that there's no bad way to go about it here. So let's see here. Let's go to the comments here. I didn't really have any issues with anything other than Murphy being in your top 10. Then you had, I'm sorry, who was your number 4?
Number 4, I had, got them all wrote out here. Let me get this one. I got, number 4, I got Will Smith. You're 5. We were pretty much neck and neck on that one.
Who'd you have at 3?
3 was Yasmani Grandal.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the one that is kind of like my Trevor Bauer. That's your Trevor Bauer of your catchers. Like, Grandal is, like, I don't know. He's not very good with the stick. I mean, the guy hits, in the low 200s every single year. He doesn't, like, he's all right with the pitching staff. His caught stealing is right around, like a couple years back. What was this 2019 I'm looking at right now? He had 73 stolen bases and caught 27. So, a guy like that, he's a nice name. He's a good guy to have on your team, a veteran guy. I just can't have him in my top 5. And then, even, and I'll get to some comments here, where with having Murphy in the top 5, like, I can argue it. He's definitely top 10. Timothy Leonard says agree with Smith at 5. Murphy is a top 10. Drew says I loved watching Mike Scioscia. So Mike Scioscia was a great catcher. I did like watching Mike Scioscia. He was a very good catcher. And the Dodgers were good back then. I really liked Mike Scioscia as a player. Liked watching him. Very good catcher. Timothy Leonard says Perez is a solid 5. I mean, look, a lot of people sleep on him again because Kansas City's not very good. So people tend to forget about those teams with those players that aren't very good, which is why I think nobody's really seen Nola yet, and nobody's even seen your guy there, Murphy, just because they're on sleeper teams. They're on teams that nobody really watches. The A's being a West Coast team, not a lot of people other than myself or maybe even Tim Leonard, who watch a ton of baseball, are going to see those guys play. But Salvador Perez is just a beast. The guy can hit. The guy can field. He throws you out. Like, this guy is an all-around catcher, and he's just an all-around baseball player. I definitely like Salvi Perez in the top 5. Did you take issue with anybody in my top 5?
No, I thought your top 5 was all right.
All right, so what you're saying is mine was good. Yours kind of sucked because of Yasmani Grandal, but okay.
I thought we were both pretty even, though, across the board. I mean, even our 1 and 2 was kind of flip-flopped across the board.
Timothy says, Wyatt talking about baseball reminds me of Stephen A. Smith's UFC commentary. He's calling you out, Wyatt.
I know, man. I don't know why. I thought Tim was on my side here, but you know what? I guess not.
Who do you think will be the breakout catcher this year? I'm going to have to say Nola. Again, not a lot of people have heard about him. Me having him in the top 5 probably surprised some people. But I've watched this kid play. And Austin Nola is a stud. And Seattle is in good hands with him. Again, he is not just a catcher, though. This guy can play first base. He can also play second base, too, which is weird for a catcher. But he is very solid behind the plate, and he can hit. He is going to be another, again, just like a Salvador Perez. And once people see him play, I I think people are really going to know that name. So that's who I would have as a breakout catcher, would be Austin Nola. Wyatt, you have any breakout catchers that
I think
just
honestly,
Google
I'm gonna
breakout catchers 2021. You come up with a couple.
No,
names,
I'm gonna agree with you on Nola. I think you hit the nail right on the head there, man. Honestly, I was a little surprised you had him in your top 5. Like I said, I didn't have him in my top 5, but with that being said, I could definitely see him being the breakout catcher of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And Hoffy says, "I watch the Athletics, jerk. I live in Oakland." Well, yes, I mean, outside of people in Oakland who are obviously going to watch their team, then yeah. But for those of us, Central Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, West Coast teams just don't get a lot of love, especially in baseball, because unless you are a pure baseball fan, you're not watching teams that aren't your team, for one. And for two, you're not staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch a team play baseball. I am. Timothy Leonard, I'm sure, does. But, I just... there are a lot of people that don't get to see them. And Timothy chimes in, James McCann will be a breakout catcher now that he doesn't have to share duties with Grandal. See, I don't think James McCann is really a breakout. I have James McCann James McCann for me was 6th. When I went through my list, I had a hard time putting Will Smith ahead of James McCann, but ultimately I did because of the way he handled his staff in the World Series run. I think James McCann is a very good catcher. I thought he was good with the White Sox. Handled that young staff really, really well. The Mets got a steal with him. So I love James McCann, and I love him to the Mets. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. He can definitely be a breakout catcher, but he's already been good. So when you say breakout catcher, I'm thinking of like rookies or something that somebody didn't really know of. Timothy Leonard says Hoff. And Streamlabs, as always, have you joined the members only page yet? Look, members only is not the same as fans only. I keep getting inboxes, hey, how do I get on the fans only page? We don't have a fans only account, guys.
Only fans, other way around.
Or OnlyFans, or whatever the hell it's called. We don't have an OnlyFans account. We're not putting, we're not sitting here in our underwear or anything like that. So if you guys are looking for that type of stuff, which, Hoffy, I know you are, we don't have that kind of stuff on our page. Our members only page is going to get you free swag. It's going to earn you points. It's going to get you into the after party after the show. So there are lots of things that our members only page is going to bring you. And again, for only $5 a month, you can be a part of Man Hour Nation. I don't have the sweatshirt with me here. It's kind of warm in the house today since it's negative 110 degrees outside right now. My in-laws have the heat set at like 95 inside the house. So I don't have the hoodie with me right now, but I can show you guys the hoodie tomorrow. It's a very nice one. The one that I took was in black, and once you guys are there for 6 months with the membership, you'll get one of those for free. Or you could go always and click on manhourradio.com, click on the merch, and you can get some merchandise. You can purchase some merchandise. We have stickers for your cars, stickers for your notebooks. Hell, I've got one sitting here on my iPad, as you can see. So we've got all sorts of good stuff there that we can get you guys. So feel free to take a look. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out all that stuff that we have going on. Timothy Leonard, I'm looking forward to discussing preseason standings. I bet Wyatt puts the Packers somewhere in the ALC. Hey, he probably does have the Packers winning. He doesn't have the Packers winning the AL Central because he knows that they're not playing baseball, but he'll tell us why the AL Central winner is so much like the Packers and why their best pitcher is so much like Aaron Rodgers and how they are so much like, a great team just like his cheesehead Green Bay Packers. Right,
Cheese.
Wyatt?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you have to admit, you bring the Packers in on a lot of conversations that you really don't involve the Packers.
I do, but that's because they are the best. I mean, you gotta, the best makes the best show better. I mean, that's all it is.
And then Hoffy and Tim Leonard. Hey, Leonard, I thought we were doing our own baseball show. And Timothy chimes in, Hoff, let's do it. Hey, boys, you guys are, look, you guys would have a great show. I've talked baseball with both of you. You guys are both very good baseball minds. You guys would have a very good baseball show. You guys should definitely hook it up. See what you guys can do. And bring, as Hoffy says here, share some real baseball knowledge with the people. Hey, I'm trying, but, I can only do so much with Wyatt. And and him having Trevor Bauer over Clayton Kershaw, that type of stuff. But maybe, on Wednesdays, instead of having a baseball lackey Hoffy on, if he's going to have his own show, we can get somebody who really knows baseball in here to discuss baseball with me. That would be amazing. What do you think, Wyatt? We should get somebody who really knows baseball, right?
Yeah, of course. You're just jealous. Everybody in here, Tim Leonard, you're just jealous. I know more about baseball than you. Calling him out.
Ooh. Tim Leonard. I mean, I know that that's not true, but Tim Leonard, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Tim Leonard has probably forgotten more about baseball than you'll ever know, but
we can talk football. How about that?
Oh boy, here we go. He's a Titans fan, man.
Oh well, then he has no room to talk to me.
Are we going to talk about how Derrick Henry's the 7th best running back in
No, Derrick Henry. Hey, that's Buck. I saw Tim. Was it Tim Leonard? Somebody commented that way earlier. Let me find that comment real quick. But somebody earlier said Wyatt mentioned something about being we need to get a clip of Wyatt saying that
he says Wyatt, the adults are talking.
Oh my God. Somebody on here said, I don't remember which one. I don't remember where it is, but somebody on here said that Wyatt mentioned that Henry was top. That was 7th. We need to get that clip. I wasn't the one who said that. I'm not taking that one. I said Henry is the best running back in the league. Buck said he was the 7th.
I've got him 4th. And
in 4th, as a true running back though, I can't put anybody else above him. You can literally just hand the dude the ball and he just mows people over and he picks up yards. I mean he ran for more yardage than anybody else in the league this year.
I just think that CMC and Zeke and Saquon are just more versatile. I think that they're better all-around backs because you can get them out of the backfield. They have great hands. They are shifty. They make you miss left to right, not just north to south. So that's where I go with him at 4th behind those 3. I mean, again, I'm not a big Zeke fan. I don't really like the guy personally, and I looked for so many reasons to make it so that he wasn't the best running back in football when we did our list. But I just couldn't. I couldn't. The numbers were they were too overwhelming. They weren't even close. I was like, well, if there's somebody who's close, I'm going to make him number 2. And there wasn't anybody who was even close in the numbers category. There might be now this year after the rough season that he had without Dak, but I don't know. I would have him 4th behind those 3 guys. I know Timothy Leonard probably disagrees, but I would definitely have him 4th over those after those 3. Tim Leonard says, Leonard, can I get some backup on the Braves being the most underrated pitching staff? Underrated, possibly. And you don't need Timothy Leonard for. I mean, he'll probably back you up on that too because he's a Braves fan. But I mean, they're going to be good. They're going to be sneaky good, but they are. I mean, that Mets pitching staff is phenomenal to me right now. The Mets are the best pitching staff in baseball, and then it's the Padres, and then it's the Dodgers at 3rd. I don't have the Mets, the Braves. I would put probably the Braves are probably a top 5 pitching staff in baseball. People like Wyatt are why I shoot middle. So Wyatt, do you know what shoot middle means?
No.
All right, so in softball, if the pitcher's talking trash or if the other team is getting on your nerves, you shoot middle, which means when that ball comes in, you're aiming for the pitcher to try to knock him down.
But you have to start by saying, middle's open!
Buck, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas?
Are you done breaking arms?
I'm close. Only Close.
Okay.
What ended up being the diagnosis?
Not broken.
That's good. No cast or anything. So what was it? Like just he hurt his arm?
The diagnosis was Cindy is gonna kick Buck's butt.
Yeah.
And
so we have it is a foam sled, right? It's super slick on it. And then I'm like, hey, let's put some wax on it, make this thing go super fast, right?
Oh
and
my God. You said
she was gone, man. She was gone. And a 2-year-old with on my back, like I was laying down, he was on top, and dude, I bet you we were going 25.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But so we were talking when the show first opened. I let everybody know you were going to be a little late and that you had a sledding accident. So then we got into talking about when the last time we went sledding. And right. I had we used to go up to the ski mountains, and we would go down the damn ski mountains in a tube, and there'd be a jump at the bottom of it.
Right.
So I mean, we're going down there quick. Wyatt over here was hitching onto the back of a 4-wheeler and having that spin him around the yard.
That must be rich kid stuff.
It's my brother's redneck. My brother's redneckness.
He said his maids were the one driving the 4-wheeler.
Oh my God!
Spinning him around, and like they would pay the maids to do that. It's crazy.
So, I think the last time I went sled riding before tonight. We actually took the hood off of my car, off of my Chevy Illumina, 1996 Chevy Illumina. Literally took the hood off, drilled 2 holes in it, tied it to the back of the bumper, and we drove around the yard. And bada bing, bada boom, there's your redneck life right there, isn't it?
Oh man. So you said the last time you went. So tonight was probably the last time you went sledding for a while, right? Like I mean, you're not going back.
I have plans to go tomorrow afternoon, so joke's on her.
Kids are going. It's just Buck.
Drew wants to know: did they do a CAT scan? Did they find your cat?
That is a Billy Bob thing, and they scanned my cat, and my cat's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Varsity Blues. Wyatt, do you know what Varsity Blues is?
Yes.
So we were talking baseball, Buck, when you came in. Yep. We had given our list. And then Timothy Leonard and Hoffy have been kind of going back and forth. Timothy Leonard chimes in and says, Hoff, based on offseason acquires, I will say that the Braves will be more competitive this year. I see the Braves competing with the Mets in the NL East in terms of pitching staff. Soroka news.
Weren't the Braves competitive last year, though? I mean,
they were. Yeah. They were. But pitching staff-wise, I think that the Braves, that's probably why they faltered in the playoffs, was because they weren't there yet. They did make some good moves this offseason. I just think that the Mets moves were better. And so that's why I have the Mets above them in that division, but they're still going to be really good. I mean, that's
I'm sitting back here and looking. I can only think of 2 moves that the Mets have made this offseason that have been big splashes, right?
Carlos Carrasco, when they got
Do you think those 2 moves really put them over the Braves?
Yeah. Carlos Carrasco's a stud. Bona fide stud. He can be a 1 or a 2 in most rotations. He's going to be the 3 for the Mets.
Plus Lindor too.
Yeah, and they got Lindor in that deal. Obviously.
And the Braves lost their. Who did the Braves lose? I'm trying to think of their young guy that they lost. Didn't he go to the Marlins? Right.
I don't think they really lost too much. They might have. Timothy would know better than I do. I don't really. I haven't followed them that close. I don't think they really lost anybody of free. I do like the addition of Morton to the Braves. And Mike Soroka is good if he's healthy. That's the thing with Soroka. Can you stay healthy? Ian Anderson and Drew Smyly is where you lose me compared to the Mets, though. Fried is going to be good. He was good last year. He's going to be good again this year. Morton's going to be good. He's going to be solid. If Soroka can be healthy, he's going to be good. But Ian Anderson and Drew Smyly, I'm kind of, that might be, that might be tough for you guys. And then if Soroka or Morton or Fried go down to injury, it's going to be really tough for the Braves to recover from that. Whereas the Mets have a little bit more depth in their pitching staff, and the sorry, just lost my train of thought there. But they've got a little bit more, with Stroman. They got Carrasco. Obviously DeGrom and Syndergaard. If Syndergaard's healthy, that's the key for Syndergaard. But once you get past that, you still got David Peterson and Steven Matz back there, and those are two really good, solid 4 and 5 pitchers. And so for me, that's why I have them ahead of the Braves. But again, that's just me.
True.
So, all right. So Buck,
you're leading the show, man. Lead the way.
You did a little bit of sledding tonight. You did a little bit of ER visit tonight. You're sitting here in your.
Which one did you guys go to?
What do you like? The
Which
ER?
hospital? Yeah.
There's only one in the area, isn't there?
No, like did you guys go to Floyd, Clark?
Yeah, Floyd.
Floyd. Oh God, how long were you guys there? How long was the wait to get back to a room?
Well, you see, we have a inside source there. Cindy's been a nurse at Floyd for 19 years. So she called her doctor friends like, "Hey, are you working tonight?" And like he's like, "Yeah." So we literally walked back into his office, and he was ready to cast before the X-rays were like even done there. So we were we were in and out pretty quickly. Me and I say pretty quickly. There was still for like an hour and a half, but still, it was pretty quick, right? For
it was.
Everybody's happy to see you, Buck. Football Kid Murray says, "Woot woot! These boys need a referee tonight." Look, Buck. I don't know if you heard the whole show. Like, how much of the show did you hear?
I just I jumped in the last 5 minutes when you said the middle was open, and
we had a very heated first 45 minutes.
Yeah,
like a very heated first 45 minutes.
That's awesome. I love it. I have to go back to the replay.
This youngin here, Dak Prescott is not a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Not worth $40 million, is he?
Yeah, he is.
I agree. No, he's not.
You are out of your.
Do you want to go back there?
I think he's worth it, but I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback.
So how can you be not a top 5 quarterback or worth the second most pay in the NFL? That doesn't make any sense.
Because his team can't be successful without him. A, and B, those other top quarterbacks aren't going to be available to get. So you've got to give him that star money to be a contender.
Let me ask you this question: if you don't think that, were the Cowboys in the playoff race till week 17 in the NFL season without Dak Prescott? Yes or no?
Yes, because their division is so bad. But if they were in any other division, no, they would not have been.
What were they?
Say that again.
Okay, hold on.
Without him, what were they?
If they weren't in the NFC East, Buck, if they weren't in the NFC East and they were in any other division, would they have been a playoff contender?
Until week 14, yes.
They weren't 6-9 without him. They were 2-3 when he went down.
Okay, so they still had a losing record with Dak Prescott.
So they were 4-6 without him.
That's still a better win percentage and a better.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what got me so heated. They were not 4-6 because of Dak Prescott. He was throwing for 400+ yards a game.
Well, hang on. Time out. Wyatt, I know you're in high school, but did you just do your math there? What is 2 of 3? What is that percentage?
66.
Okay, what is 4 of 6?
4 of 6 is 66.
Are you sure?
No.
It's a little bit higher than that, boy. But that's okay. So they actually had a better winning percentage without Dak Prescott. If you want to go that
because
route.
they had more games.
So had a better winning percentage.
Stop it, Buck.
I'm just saying.
The guy they were giving up. We already went over this, but they were giving up 30+ points a game as a defense.
Right, and the defense got better.
What? 4 of 6 is 66%.
No, it's not. It's actually probably lower than 66%. Actually, I don't know. I'm just trying to do numbers off the top of my head. Not very good.
Oh my God, I don't know what to do with you guys. How can you put that on Dak Prescott that they were 2-3 without him when they were giving up so many points?
I'm not saying it was on Dak Prescott. I'm saying it was on the defense for.
And then you said the defense got better. How did they get better?
They weren't giving up 45 points a game.
What? After the week after he went down, they lost 38-10 to the Cardinals. Then they lost 25-3 to the Eagles, 23-9 to the
So they're getting better. Only giving up 25,
24-19 to the Steelers. Lost 41-16 to Washington. 34-17 to the Ravens. Let's see here. They won one and they beat the Bengals 30-7 without Joe Burrows. Then they give up 33 points to the 49ers. So, like, I don't know where they got back. And that's where Wyatt lost. And he's like, oh, they had one of the best defenses in the league. What?
4 out of 6. What? It is 66%.
Oh, my God.
Why? It literally took you like 10 minutes to figure that out.
I'm trying to do a online calculator app. Okay, I can't just do percentages off the top of my head. 4 out of 6.
You have your phone. Go into the calculator.
You can't do percentages on your phone, can you?
Yes, you can. Oh, my God. You don't know how to read percentages?
Oh, Wyatt. 4 divided by 6.
What school do you go to?
Oh, my Lord.
4 divided by 6.
And yes, guys.
6,666,666,7.
Which is
66%.
67%.
Just
You round up.
66%.
So
It's 67%.
If you guys have not learned, sometimes I say things just to say it, just to see if you guys catch things. I knew 4 divided by 6 was 66%. Because if you double 2/3,
No, you didn't. You all did not. You all both talked to me like I was stupid when I said it was 66%. I knew I was right.
But it's not. It's 67% because you.
No,
round
it
up.
is not. It is 66.6.
It's
Continued.
66.66666. So it's
Continued.
66.7.
67 is
No,
67.
because there's a 7 at the end of that one, so it's not continued.
So Combs, I am confused. What side of the fence are you on the Dak Prescott thing? Is he worth the $40
Dak
million
Prescott is
a year?
definitely worth the $40 million. He's the top 5 quarterback in the league.
Boom.
Oh my God!
Like
shut
I
up.
said, I knew that.
Anyway.
I was just testing you, but nonetheless.
Anyway, so what is?
I did not have issues determining the percentage, Timothy. I was correct. You have issues determining percentages. Thank you.
Professor.
Thank you.
But
Professor.
Get off my screen.
Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback. He has freaking Wyatt has Josh Allen over Dak Prescott, which I think is insane. I said you have Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, and then Dak Prescott. Not in that order, right?
I said here are the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, not in any order. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. Those are the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now.
He's
not
better
in
than
any
Josh
particular
Allen and
order.
Russell Wilson.
Oh
in a
my
healthy season,
God.
he's better than both of them.
No, he is not.
Yes, he is.
What has he done
Oh my.
in his time as an elite quarterback? Absolutely nothing. He had a rookie.
has
He had a
Josh
good
Allen
rookie
done?
year. AFC Championship.
Okay.
In
He did not win an
2
AFC
years.
championship.
He went to the AFC Championship. That's what I'm saying. In 2 years, he went to the AFC Championship. Dak Prescott's been in the league for, 4 or 5 years now and still has never done that? Dak Prescott's only made it to the divisional round, once or twice?
Again.
Barely made it there?
You're Oh my
And who did he lose to in the divisional round? Come on, bring up your drinking game here. The Packers.
Dak Prescott is better than Josh Allen.
So 3 names that you guys threw out there: Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, and Josh Allen. I would all kind of rank them equally moving forward because I think Josh Allen has the most upside out of both of those guys over Dak and Deshaun. And right now, I would put Dak over Deshaun just because Dak has a better team around him moving forward. So if I had to rank them at like going into the future, I would put Josh Allen 1, Dak 2, and Deshaun Watson 3.
No, Dak is 3. Deshaun Watson is. I would say it's a toss up between Josh Allen and I would say it's a toss up between Deshaun Watson. Hey, yeah, like I said, I mentioned your drinking game. Tim, go ahead. It's time.
Buck, you weren't here earlier, but Tim Leonard said he has a drinking game for the show now.
Yeah.
Every time I mention the
Wyatt brings
Packers.
up the Packers for no good reason whatsoever, or anytime
like
that he
that.
mentions stats from a player from 3 seasons ago and how good that makes them right now, that we should
I
drink.
mentioned that one time we were talking about Carson Wentz. One time I mentioned that. We
You
were talking
mentioned
about
about
Carson
17 times when we were talking about Carson Wentz.
Wentz. Because it's true. That's when he was
not
an
true.
MVP caliber talent.
So
Since
what?
then, he lost his play caller.
Joe
That is
Montana was
huge.
the MVP in 1989. Does that make him a good quarterback in 2020?
I mean, he'd probably start for the Bears right now. Who knows?
Who
knows?
For the Bears in a diaper right now.
Sheesh. I have missed you guys for the last 2 hours. I am really bad. I got to jump in on this tail end of the show here.
It's unbelievable. I don't understand. We got to take another break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit more with Buck. We're going to close the show. We'll probably mute Wyatt a few times.
No, don't do that. That's kind of rude.
Yeah, well, so is his takes all freaking night long. We'll be right back. Man Hour Nation, it has been a wild night. You guys, do not forget to go to manhourradio.com and go ahead and get your members-only subscription right now, $5 a month. You can get into the post-game show that we have here, the after party. You can get yourself a free hoodie after 6 months. So go ahead and subscribe to the Man Hour members-only page, or click on merch and get yourself some free merch. Guys, the guys in the chat right now really want to talk baseball.
Before we do that, speaking of which, if you are members, I will send out a promo code to you guys tonight to get $5 off any merchandise in the merch store until the end of the month. So if you guys want any merch and you're a member, you're going to get a promo code through your email tonight. So check it out.
Don't ever cut me off again. I'm just joking.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Anyway, so the boys are talking baseball. Timothy Leonard proposed the question to Hoffy, what do you think about Nolan Arenado? And Hoffy had kind of the same answer that I did when I was asked that question. Predict a struggle this year. He's a different hitter outside Colorado. I think he has a better year or two, but we still be talking about NFC East of MLB. So, look, Nolan Arenado is a very different hit. I was talking to a friend today about baseball, and we actually got on this topic, and he hits 40 points less outside of Colorado. Like, defensively, you know what you're getting out of Nolan Arenado. The kid is a stud, a flat-out stud defensively. Offensively, you don't know what you're getting outside of Colorado. He's a 312 hitter in Colorado. He's a 260 hitter outside of Colorado. So it's a huge difference. And now people will come back at you and say, well, you know, what about DJ LeMahieu and what he's doing with New York? He came from Colorado. He's been a stud for the Yankees. DJ LeMahieu is a different type of hitter. DJ LeMahieu is not about launch angle and all that. DJ LeMahieu is a contact hitter. Very different style hitter than Nolan Arenado. So that's why I agree with Hoffy. I think he struggles this year. I think Not only the problem with Arenado being not the same hitter outside of Colorado, but the fact that he has no protection in that lineup whatsoever is also going to cause problems for Nolan.
Yeah, the protection is a huge thing, but I don't like you guys keep referring to that division as the NFC East because I don't anticipate anybody from this division winning a playoff series. Like, I thought legitimately somebody from the NFC could win a playoff game, but looking at it, I don't think anybody from this division can win a playoff series.
You can't sleep on teams that make it in through a wild card. And
I'm not talking about our Cubs. Our Cubs know that single-handedly, Combs.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the one game playing game. Like, I'm talking like a 7-game series.
Well, I believe it's still the same playoff format as last year, so everybody plays a 3-game series. So everybody's coming out of the wild card, but one of these two teams could absolutely be, whether it's the Cubs or the Cardinals, they could absolutely sneak up on you in the playoffs. They've got decent enough pitching. The Cubs have a lot of hitting. The Cubs actually have a really good lineup if they don't get rid of Chris. Well, even if they get rid of Chris Bryant, they still have a really good, solid lineup. But I wouldn't sleep on them heading into the playoffs. I mean, once you get into the playoffs, it's a whole different ballgame. Everybody has a chance.
You're right on that.
So, yeah, I think that I'm looking for. Sorry, I got sidetracked by a comment. Looking for Kansas State.
I got you.
All right, so I just think that those two teams can't sneak up on you. I think that the Cubs are scarier than the Cardinals because
you're a homer.
No, I think that the Cubs have more pitching, especially out of the bullpen, than the Cardinals do.
If you want to talk fan, about I am a Packers fan.
So anytime Colm brings up Cubs just out of the blue, guys, just go ahead and drink for that, right? Too.
Well, they're in the background of my shot, so you'd be drunk really, really quick.
So I don't like any of those teams coming out of that division. I still like the Reds.
See, and I actually like the Brewers. I think the Brewers are actually really slept on, and that pains me as a Cubs fan to say.
The Brewers or the Reds?
The Reds have lost a ton. The Brewers, I mean, the Reds lost Bauer. The Reds lost,
It doesn't matter because Bauer's a trash pitcher, remember?
Yeah. Isn't that what you said? The Bauer's overrated?
Bauer didn't matter?
But he was still their best pitcher last year.
Oh, okay.
He won the Cy Young, and they just lost.
But he's a trash
But he's
pitcher.
overrated.
Okay.
Oh my freaking God!
I mean, we're just stating facts here. So
hey,
he won the Cy Young, the best pitcher on the team, but he is not even in the top 10. But
he's had 9 seasons in the league, and only 2 of them has had an ERA under 4.
How many Cy Youngs has he won?
1.
Okay. When was that Cy Young?
Oh my God!
I'm
not gonna take trash talk from 2 guys who. Never mind. Anyway,
how many pitchers in your top 5 have Cy Young last year?
Jacob deGrom.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking. He didn't win one last year. Trevor Bauer did.
Yeah. So
Shane Bieber.
So what you're saying is 0 last year won Cy Young in your top 5, right?
1. Shane Bieber did.
1. Shane Bieber.
Okay. So a Cy Young is not a criteria for a top.
Let me ask you a question, Buck. Okay. Would you take Trevor Bauer over Jacob deGrom?
No, because I kind of thought we were all kind of a unanimous that Jacob deGrom was the best pitcher.
Yeah, we all thought Jacob deGrom was number 1.
Would you take Trevor Bauer over Max Scherzer?
Yes.
Would you take Trevor Bauer? God, I just want to punch you right now. Would you take Trevor Bauer over Clayton Kershaw?
So let me ask you this question. Jacob,
hold on. I'm not done answering my question. Answer. Would you take him over Clayton Kershaw?
It depends. What team is Clayton Kershaw on? Is he on the Dodgers?
The Dodgers.
Still? Then I would not.
Okay.
Because the Dodgers have a lot of help around him. Now, if Clayton Kershaw was on like the Mets with no help around him, previously years, no, I wouldn't.
Would you take him over Shane Bieber?
No.
Would you take him over Kyle Hendricks?
Yes.
Okay, so in that segment, we proved that you know nothing about baseball because you would take him over Max Scherzer and you would take him over Kyle Hendricks, two guys who consistently have ERAs in the 2s, and Trevor Bauer has had one season in the last 9 where he's had an ERA under 4.
Did either of those two guys win a Cy Young last year? Is that a no, Combs? Just like at this point, I'm asking for a friend.
Did Kershaw win the Cy Young award?
No, but Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, and the Green Bay Packers are the greatest team of all time.
Hey, you mentioned the Packers now. Do they still have to drink? Is that how the game works? If Combs mentions the
that's
Packers,
why I did it.
Is Combs mentioned the Packers?
My God,
Timothy, we need an answer here, Timothy. If he mentions the Packers, do we have to drink? I need you to comment that.
So Combs, let me ask you this question. We've been talking a lot of a lot of NL Central, but let's talk a little bit of AL Central a tad bit before we leave the show. My Kansas City Royals have been making a lot of off-season moves here in the last month of 6 weeks, and Hoffy said he had them sliding up into his power polls, and I think he almost said they had him at 10.
Yeah, I think he took it from 30 to 27th.
No, he had him moving up to 15th or 10th or so. I mean, many people are saying this is the doormat league of the Major League Baseball this season.
No, the AL Central.
Yes.
No, the White Sox are really young and talented. Even though I don't like the hire of Tony La Russa, I think that the hire of Tony La Russa holds this team back a year and sets them back.
Do you think it tears that team apart with the old school ways with the new team mentality?
I don't know. That's the wild card with them. It might. I don't think it mixes well. And I'm not so sure that he doesn't even resign mid-season once he realizes that it's not working and he doesn't want to hold this team back, and then they take off. But no, the AL Central is not the doormat. I mean, the Twins are really young and really good. They are an exciting team to watch, even though they seem to every September find a way to blow it. But every September, heading into September, they're one of the best teams in the league. The Indians lost a lot by losing Lindor. The Royals have gotten better. So, I would not say the NL Central is going to be the doormat of baseball.
So when you say the doormat of the baseball, are you talking everybody is sub 500 this year?
No, I think,
And we don't really care what you think about that, because that's how we're going to end the Man Hour tonight. Head over to youtube.com/Man Hour, guys.
You ain't in charge tonight. I'm in charge.
I'm in charge tonight, baby. Man Hour Nation.
Man Hour Nation. Rise up.
Head over to the members only tab over on the website and check us out. We'll do in the after show after that right there, guys. So join us there. We'll be over there at some point. Have a nice night. Bye.